Welcome to the Gauntlet, where the jankiest Magic the Gathering tribal decks battle it out for glory, but most of all, your viewing pleasure. And of course, we would love it if you would participate in our leaderboard, where the winner will take home a Phyrexian Secret Lair drop. So, if you want to be a part of the leaderboard, all you have to do is predict the winner of the next match and comment it down below this video. So now, sit back, relax and enjoy the show. And Bram, tell us something about the two decks in this video.
This time on the red felt, some bloody vampires take it up against some slimy horrors. Let's look at the decks. We start with this black-blue horror deck full of evil, vile creatures. Hullbreaker Horror, Toxrill of course, and Sludge Monsters are the big ones. We also play quite a bit of removal, some tricks like Polymorphous Jest and a Cruel Witness, a Bird Horror. Now on the other side we have a bunch of legendary vampires like Anye Falkenrod. We have Olivia the Crimson Bride and Straffon. He's not from the Vampire Diaries, that's Stefan. But we also have some Dracula flavor in this deck with Falkenrod, Forebearer. We have a Voldaren Estate and some removal as well.
Fight!
Before we start, shout out to our sponsors. We have CARDMARKET, the best place to get your magic stuff in Europe. And of course we also have Dragon Shield. That is of course the best way to protect your magic cards. Now let's look at the hand of the horrors, I believe, first. We see some lands. Horrors took a mulligan, but we are keeping it casual, so we mulligan first to 7. There's another land and a 4th land, but also some horrors like Fist Spear, Gargantuan, Hunted Horror is in the hand of the horror player. And let's look at the other side of the red felt. We see Bloodsworn Squire, a 3/3 vampire. Nice mana fixing with Smoldering March. Next up, Dracula Blood Immortal or the Falkenrod Forebearer, and he is in his Voldaren Estate. We also see a Gaia Reach Sanitarium, so some flavorful lands on the side of the vampires. Here is Voldaren Epicure. Nice 1-drop for a quick start, and we know the vampires, they like that. They like a quick start, but it's the horrors that start with an Evolving Wilds. And I can expect that being cracked. Voldaren Estate is bringing in a Voldaren Epicure. Meanwhile, the Evolving Wilds is being cracked. Both players go to 19 because of the Epicure and the Voldaren Estate that does 1 damage. Here is also a blood token. So let's see if we'll have a long game or a short game. Let's see how aggressive these vampires are. The horror deck has kind of a slow start unless you play a 7/7 trample for 2 mana. There are 2 centaurs coming with protection from black. On the side of the vampire player, of course. So let's see what the vampires can do. And if this Hunted Horror can do some damage. Smoldering March comes into play tapped, and the vampires, they will pass the turn. No, they will attack with 1 protection from black centaur, putting the horrors at 16. And now we go back to the land of the spooky creatures under the bed. Here is a life gained from that dual land that comes into play tapped, and of course gains you alive. In this case it gains the horror player alive. Pretty slow start from the horrors. And here is Dracula Blood Immortal. And this one has flying, so it can cause some problems for the horrors. There is a removal spell and that comes in handy. So let's see. Horrors just pass the turn. And vampires, they also draw a nice removal spell. Now they play for 4 mana. Blood Sworn Squire, a 3/3 that can gain indestructibility. And that's a nice effect. An attack with Mr. Dracula. No, we have a nice removal spell for you, Mr. Dracula. This card is destroyed. Back into the coffin. And there is another horror. And this one is being played immediately because probably the lifelink Scrounger of Souls. Back to the vampires. Gyreach Sanitarium is the play. We play Anye Falconrat as well. And Anye will discard Terminal Agony, but this one has Madness, so it can be played for only 2 mana, destroying Hunted Horror. Anye untaps. And then an attack from those 2, protection from black creatures. No, just 1. Back to the horrors. They do have a sludge monster in hand. 1 life is gained. Here is sludge monster. Gonna put a slime counter on another creature and that will lose all abilities and become a 2/2. That will probably be the Centaur, and now an attack. Let's see. Just no blocks, says the vampire player. Horrors go to 16. That means we have a possible attack on the way back, of course. And another legendary vampire is drawn. 2 legendary vampires at least in the hand of the vampire player. Let's see if we get a play first. 4 mana has been tapped for Anye, Maid of Dishonor. So this one can create some blood tokens. We're going to crack some blood tokens to get Dracula back. Nice play by the vampires. They're really getting the whole vampire family out there. There's mom vampire, there's the kids, grandpa vampire, they're all there. And another land for the horrors. They are a little bit mana flooded. They do play Fist Spear Gargantua. And they draw Polymorphous Jest. That's a nice combat trick. Now another land is played. The horrors, they don't attack. And the vampires keep on drawing legendary vampires with Olivia Voldaren. Now, unfortunately, this one can't be cast. We're going to look for a land, and there it is. Anye Falconrod searches for the land for Olivia Crimson Bride. This one has haste. And when it attacks, it can return to the battlefield a creature tapped and attacking. That will be Straffon. Really nice play. Aggressive play by these vampires. Another blood token from the other Anye. And now let's see. A lot of damage. Horrors go to 6. Now let's see if the horror player can find an answer, because the pressure is on. There's a bird horror. We're going to see an attack from the horrors. Full scale attack. Sludge Monster is going to put a counter on Olivia. We're going to see a block. And I don't know why he attacks with the black creatures into those sand towers. Because lifelink would not work. Not that optimal of a play, I think, from the horror player here. But here is Cruel Witness. And he's keeping the Polymorphous Jest in his hand as a trick. Yeah, the horror player now noticed the mistake. No lifelink, of course. But it wouldn't really matter. Anye, Maid of Dishonor, is going to sacrifice 2 blood tokens, putting the horrors at 2, and then sacrificing Slimy Olivia Voldaren, the Crimson Bride. That means horrors are done. They play a polymorphic jest in response for the fun of it, but it's vampires that take down this game.
Another great match is in the books. If you want to learn more about the leaderboards, click the link here and comment down below on who you think will win the next match. So Bram, what do you have in store for us next week?
Next week, Dwarves versus Clerics. I have no idea who will win. You probably do, and put it in the comments down below. Bye!